Now, Joe. We are live, Joe. We are live, Joe. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hey, those are pretty good bars, bro.
Just a little track we was playing with earlier. What's up,
I'm actually
everybody? Yo, 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 yo. Joe, could you hear that track? That was my
yeah,
little intro music.
sounds good, bro.
My little homemade bebop. What's up, everybody? How y'all feeling, man? Joe Rod, how are you?
What's up, everybody?
Um, Quick note, guys. Joe and I haven't even pregame for this show. Like, we legit just said we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be a great show, and that's how we're gonna rock tonight. Um, I'm introducing one of my favorite people, not even in Cowboys land, but just in the world. Joe Rodriguez.
Appreciate you,
Cowboys
bro.
blog. Joe, how you doing?
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. The go to goats with the team. Who's the team?
How are you, Joe? Before we get
Doing
started, how's everything?
doing good, man. Getting ready for the new year. Hung out with the family, overate, gaining weight, all that. So one more holiday to get through, and then we'll be back on track. All right.
Are you is your family big on the holidays, Joe? Do they go in?
Oh yeah. It's always a lot of gatherings, eating, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But
I mean, hey, listen,
one more day of gluttony, and it'll be done.
Joe. I'm not even mad at it because I tell people it's okay to when you're with family, enjoy your time with family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like enjoy your time with family, spend time with family, cherish time with family. I remember on Thanksgiving, I was watching the Oakland game, and obviously we got popped and we were injured.
Hmm.
But it was just good to be with fam. Like it was just good to be with my family
Yeah.
watching the game. You never know. Everything changes year to year. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just say that to say like it's very important to enjoy your family.
So very good point. Very good point indeed. Shout out to everybody in the chat box, man.
And so on that note, Joe, I'm doing good. I hope everybody's COVID free. I don't think I've ever seen. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stay off of that because I don't want to get this turn this into the political hour with certain things. But Joe,
Yeah.
we're coming off probably I wouldn't say the most impressive win because obviously Washington was banged up. But I will say it's nice that this team is finally doing what we think they could do. And I got a few before we move to the Cardinals and get to that game. We want to recap some of this stuff, Joe. Just for me, my initial thoughts, Joe. I was struggling with Dak as far as the mechanics, ball placement. Now the Giants game, I actually thought that Dak had cleaned up a lot of that. CD had a few drops, or Dak's numbers would have looked better. And this is me holding Dak to the elite standard. So this isn't me saying, Dak is on, Daniel Jones level or anything like that. It's more or less like the level that we've seen Dak play at. How does he get back to that? And then boom, he has the Washington football team game, and he just goes crazy. He looks cleaner. And it's reported that he was spending more time with the receivers doing more work. Joe, what are your thoughts? Just you can kind of give me your recap on the last game, but then it's like if this offense is gonna play like this, Joe, what we in good shape.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, I think a lot of us going into that Giants game was this will be the get right game. That was the whole talk amongst fans. It kind of was like it looked promising, but it wasn't quite the get right game. I think that Washington game was the get right game. You know what I mean? So, but what I like to see was the progression getting back on track. So Washington better. I mean, the Giants better, Washington even better. So that's what you want, right? You want to be tracking upwards with your offense and your team, and balanced on offense and defense, and that's what we saw. And like you said, folks, like if the offense and the defense are hand in hand, complementing each other, that we can beat anybody, really, and we can go anywhere with that defense.
Joe, the defense, pretty much. I thought when they went up 21, were they up 21-0? When did they get 7, Joe? Washington. It was like at one point, it's like they kind of tried to make a play or whatever, and it was like, okay. And then they just buckled back down. I think that this defense has now said, we're going to play amazing football, and we're going to put some of this on our shoulders. And they're doing that, and they're playing complimentary. Joe, is this the best defense in the NFC? Because I'm ready to say over the last 5 weeks, I think they are. I think the numbers support that. I think the turnover thing is real. It's not like a beginning of the year thing and it just phased off. I think the turnover thing is real. I think that you're deep on every level of the team. Maybe linebacker may be of your defense. Maybe linebacker may be slightly thin, Joe. But outside of backer, you look at D-line, it's crazy the depth that we're talking about, Joe. And then secondary is even crazier. So, Joe, what is this defense like? Where are we at with this defense, Joe?
Definitely, this is, to me, they're playing like a top 5, top 3 defense. I don't know what the actual stats are or whatever, and sometimes stats don't tell the whole truth. But this is because I don't know who number 1 is. Maybe someone in the comments can tell us who number 1. But to me, this defense is getting hot right now, hotter and hotter. You know what I mean? So it's does any offense want to go up against this? I guarantee you, a quarterback doesn't want to see this defense, chasing them around, flushing them out of the pocket. So it's a defense, one of the best I've seen in a very, very long time, several decades.
Yeah, I think with the emergence of D-Law, coming back from that injury, Joe, I don't think that's been highlighted enough that it's like, okay, D-Law, he's going to come back, but what are we going to get out of D-Law? Like, what player are we going to get, Joe? And
he's
then
been catalyst to the defense.
Dude, run game, check.
Yeah. Pass
rush, check. Turnovers, check. Punching the ball out, peanut punch, check.
Mm-hmm.
Interceptions, check. Like, it's a real thing. Competition within the team is a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell me that D-Law and Randy Gregory don't see Micah making plays and they like, hold up. I can make plays as well.
Yeah, you saw it in the game. They were all standing on the sideline. They wanted to go back in there. Gregory, they all had that, that competitor, that edge, to get back in there. And in some of the defenses we've seen, they come off the field, they go sit down. This defense, they're right there on the sideline edge, ready to go in there. Like they don't want to come off the field. I love it.
Yeah, and I just think, Randy Gregory, I wasn't going to highlight him. I want to talk D-Law, but Randy Gregory still has that bend. You're going to bring him back. I know people want to talk draft right now, but I'm going to enjoy this ride right now. Another thing that I saw from the game is just the way this secondary is playing, Joe. Now, I highlighted Tony Johnson's comment because I agree, Tony. I think that's a great comment. Make sure you guys also, by the way, guys, on my last video, I just did a film session. And then on my recap, I'm trying to get to a Cowboys playoff game if you guys want to donate. Also, make sure you guys go to Joe's page whenever he puts stuff up and donate. Guys, being content creators isn't easy. It takes a lot of money. So any donation you guys have is dope. And I'm actually trying to get to Dallas to try to cover a game. Let's talk about this secondary, Joe. This secondary is crazy. Another position group that is literally battling for. Oh, by the way, I thought Keanu Neal actually had a good game. I went back and watched. He was doing some nice things. Secondary, Joe. Yeah. When you look at how Diggs is playing, you look at Kelvin Joseph being able to get some reps. You look at Anthony Brown. Hey, AB, just go ahead and kick inside. He does it like it's no issue. We look at Jordan Lewis, who didn't even play this game, but he's been putting together nice games. You look at Malik Hooker, Joe. Man, you cover Malik Hooker very well. There was no chance that Dallas would have been able to draft him. You get him in, you bring him in, and he looks like Ohio State Malik Hooker.
Yeah.
Don O. Wilson played decent this game. Like, Joe, this is nuts because I can honestly say, Joe, me and you we started covering draft outside of Vosh before anybody. We did. And so now we can honestly say how long it's been about 5 years that we've said we need true help on the back end.
Yeah.
True sideline to sideline guys. Joe, we got it.
Yeah, they've got their guys. And another Will McClay special with Malik Hooker. And like you said, he looks like Ohio State because I think he's fully, 100% healthy. In every game, he's looked better and better and better, playing more physical, and just right there where the ball is. Somebody will catch it, boom, he's hitting you, and you're not moving. So one of his trademarks was that, right, coming out of Ohio State. Just a solid tackler in space, and he does a really good job, man. I love having him there, and I think they hit on Jaron Curse as well as the other safety. It's a good unit. That secondary is playing lights out right now.
I think that secondary is playing lights out. Somebody asked who's going to spy Kyler Murray. D. Chavez, we'll get to that in a second, guys. Make sure you guys keep the super chats coming. I wanted to stay on the Washington football game a little bit longer too, because the truth is Washington had everything to play for. That's an NFL team. And they had everything to play for, and we went out there and we destroyed them. Joe, I want to go back to the receiving core now. Mm-hmm. When you talk about Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, do you think that's how we have to use those guys? Because I think that making the conscious effort to get Amari Cooper the ball early, I think Amari Cooper is still our best overall receiver when it comes to route running, being where he's supposed to be, just doing his job and catching the football. I think that it was like we wanted CeeDee to. I think CeeDee has the highest upside, but he still has to get his consistency together. And I think that he will end up with probably a better career numbers wise. But I just think that Amari Cooper, and it showed this week, like, yeah, he can still do his thing. I think that Gallup can still play. I think that this Malik Turner has now entered the conversation as a guy. Mm-hmm. That can be something. I think they use Cedric Wilson in some nice ways. Joe, what's going to be the key for this offense? Not just the Cards game, because I think that Dallas will beat the Cardinals. They have some issues, and we're going to get to the Cardinals. That's the point of this live stream. But what's the formula for this offense to stay consistent? Like,
yeah,
I think Kellen went through and it happens to play callers. This is a 17-game season. What's the formula to say we're gonna stay consistent? This is what we're gonna do. If you guys do this, then. So you tell me.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be ball distribution. If you're gonna throw the ball, it's got to be, distribute the ball, evenly as much as you can, or whoever's open, throw it there, and they got to catch it. We got to cut the drops out, right? So I think that, but if you take out one player, the other two need to step up. You know what I mean? Whatever player they're trying to battle out of the game plan, because Belichick is one of the best to do it, right?
Right.
Whether it's like, we're going to take out your tight end, we're going to take out Amari or whatever. Like, that's what's going to have to happen in the playoffs for this offense to continue to be that even, half, with the defense.
Yeah, I think that's astute, Joe. Joe, do we have a number one receiver, or should we not even think like that to you?
I think it's Amari. I think it's still Amari. If you don't have Amari, they struggle. You know what I mean? I think defenses, I think they try to shut him down more than the other ones. And it's not a knock on CD. He's a really good player, but I think he needs a little bit more work as far as the route running and consistency.
And I think I'm not gonna say that Kellen is he's funny when it comes to what he's really trying to do and his plan of attack. Like, when you look at Tennessee, they're just gonna run at you. They want to be a mash you type of team. My cat is annoying the hell out of me. Stop.
Well, I'll tell you this too, Foots. In every time they're talking, they ask Mike McCarthy about the offense, game planning. The name that comes up that fans need to think about here or remember is Ben McAdoo. All right, so in this last press conference, he talked about, oh, we're going to, he's going to also bring in Brent McAdoo to help out with the game planning. So maybe some of these top secret plays that were, rumors that we're going to see in the playoffs, maybe that gets unleashed. But maybe
That's a good point.
you see a little bit more influence from Ben McAdoo with Mike McCarthy. Those two guys work really great together in Green Bay. And I think that, like you said, throughout a 17-game season, Kellen Moore's game plan looked like it got a little bit stale. So I think that might be a little bit of a help for him.
Yeah, somebody in the comments said I got a cat. Yeah, I got a cat, bro. They're actually really cool pets. I was never a cat guy. And then the thing is, my mom's dog is here, so they're having like this weird stare off. It's really weird. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing, bro? Oh, wow. Man. You see this, Joe? Joe, I'm gonna send you half of this when it cashes. Nice. Mr. Jab just came in with the booyah. And I couldn't do this without Joe. So Joe, I appreciate you. Joe, thank you so much, man. I mean, Mr. Jab, thank you so much for this super chat. I just appreciate that. Now back to wow, this just blew my breath away from the cat getting on my nerves and then getting blessed with a bill.
Shout
Thank
out
you
Mr.
so much.
Jab.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Jab for you, man. That's heavy.
Hey, Foots, real quick. Talking about Mr. Jab in 2018, when I first created my channel, I was looking, at other channels, and I just had this connection with Foot, so I started watching his videos. Just the way that he would break down stuff, I was like, man, we have like the same wavelength. Let me reach out. Let's see if we can get something going. You know what I mean? So
people don't know. Me and Joe used to do the podcast every week. We went strong for that for a while. Then life happened, but Joe's my go-to because I know with Joe, unfortunately, guys, the truth is a lot of people are gonna give you fluff, and homerish. Joe will never do that, and you need people who are gonna tell you the truth. When Dallas wasn't playing good, me and Joe were like, "This won't get it done."
no,
I'm texting Joe like, "This isn't gonna be good enough. You're gonna run into a sneaky Rams team with a really good receiver. You're gonna run into front run A-Rod. You're gonna run into some of these teams. This will not get it done." The way Dallas is playing now, they're playing for each other. Mike McCarthy does not get enough credit for having these guys ready to go.
Yeah,
he doesn't. Yep, Cowboys huddle. That's right, man. Mike McCarthy does not get enough credit, Joe, for having these guys ready to go.
It's true.
They're ready to go. Joe, we haven't seen teams that look like this, Joe. Just haven't.
Yeah, and the improvement is really what you want to see anyway, right? 2020, it was almost a redshirt year for him. You know what I mean? Like the injuries, the COVID crap, and all this other, but to see the improvement from 2020 to this season, whatever way the season ends, you're seeing the progression. That's what you want to see from a coach. You don't want to see somebody that's like like the Eagles coach or even Carolina, Matt Rule. I think he's been kind of disappointed. Like, they're not really improving, but with him, Cowboys look like they made the right decision here with McCarthy. You know what I mean?
I know people who wanted Matt Rule.
Yeah.
Who said Matt Rule was? I know people who wanted Matt Rule, Joe, who were like, he's the hot guy, he's the blah blah blah, and it's looking like he could be a year away from getting out of there.
Yep.
And so that's why I always encourage people to stay patient. Like, oh wow, man, thank you.
It's hard to find these high end, top level, complete coaches in the league. That's why there's so much turnover every year. You know what I mean? It's hard to find these guys, and when one becomes available, you got to grab one. Oh, dude, wow. Kennard, wow.
I was about to say, you guys are just blessing the chat. Super chat. Thank you guys so much, man. Thank you guys for these super chats, man. I can't believe you guys are showing that much love. It just means the world to me. And Joe, I see a GOAT just dropped in. Kennard, if you have any questions, man, I'll make sure that I put you on the priority. You and Mr. Jab. I see a GOAT just checked in. Vash Lombard.
Shout out Kennard, man. Appreciate
Yeah.
that, bro. Yeah, it has
Wow.
been a good season, but we have more to go, bro. I'm excited to see where this team goes.
Yeah, I mean, so
We were talking offline about dynasties, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But there's potential there for that.
Joe, let's get ahead of ourselves, Joe. We can. We ain't
All
talked
right.
in a while. Let's get ahead.
Yeah.
When you look at draft, right? I thought about something. You realize just in our division alone, right? We draft behind everybody. Draft behind the Skins, draft behind the Giants, and we draft behind Washington, right? Just think about it. We've hit and have not with the D line alone, right, Joe? We're just talking D line. We're talking Osa Neville, Randy, because you held strong with Randy. Let's say you get another year out of D-Law and you got Micah. Okay.
No.
You go back to the well for a backer, and your secondary is very young. Malik Hooker's what, 26? If you put together even half of the draft that you just had, you got Golston, by the way. Okay. If you put together half of the draft that you just had, Joe, why couldn't you have a defensive dynasty? You got the best defensive player in football right now on your team.
Yeah.
And he's what, 21?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't you? Offensively, obviously Zeke, running back will be a question in about 2 years.
Yep.
Receiver, all CD's fine. He's still on his rookie contract. He's gonna continue to get better. So CD's in his rookie contract, so he's gonna continue to get better. But then you think about like a Malik Turner. We don't know what Malik Turner could be. He could end up being a number 2. He's showing me some juice, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't even see this. So I'm just saying, and Dak will be here. Let's be honest, Dak will be here. So it's not like it's not out of the question, Joe.
Yeah, it's not far-fetched. I mean, so basically kind of what we're talking about is being the type of team that's always in the running, right? Like a Chiefs team or like a New England, where you're always going to be potentially in the championship conference game. You know what I mean? And that's something the Cowboys haven't had in a while. And McCarthy's had a couple of appearances there. You know what I mean? So I think you build this team up, rebuild, reload, right? I don't think we're rebuilding, but reload on the offensive line, get that thing rejuvenated. You know what I mean? And keep adding bodies to that D line, because you can never have enough of these, guys that want to get after the quarterback. I like what we've done in this draft, and then we're talking about just year one. This defense is still very young. I can you imagine when these guys come into year 2 with the full offseason workout and their grown man bodies, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Micah Parsons next year is going to look physically like intimidating, I think, more than what he is. You know what I mean? And then Golston, Osa is huge. This guy's going to be probably like the Incredible Hulk next year. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to what these guys are going to do. It's exciting, man. It really is.
I think the cool thing about this, and guys, thank you to everybody who wants to support. I think the cool thing about this is that they're so young, playing so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said about, Vach's word is, put some peanut butter. They'll get some peanut butter in their system, and they'll get thicker, and they'll just continue to play.
Oh, yeah.
These guys, this could be scary, dude. This could be scary. I think that we have the best defense in the NFC right now. I watched the Packers give up a lot of yardage to a backup in Huntley. I've watched Arizona just be shoddy, and I guess we'll start transitioning to Arizona. I've watched the Rams be up and down defensively. Obviously, Aaron Donald's still been Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey's been Jalen Ramsey. But outside of that, it's been like, okay. I've watched San Fran be hit or miss as well. Decent D-line. But just kind of hit or miss. And then obviously Jimmy G is, he's just okay. And I just watch our defense just be stout against the run, turn the ball over, turn teams over. And the biggest thing that I think that's going to be so much fun in the playoffs is watching Dan Quinn matchup, and he dictate to the offense what they have to do because of the matchups that we're going to have. As far as, okay, if you have an elite receiver, you have some type of guy, okay, we could play this personnel package because we have these guys on the back end. Or if you have a guy that's getting off, or like if we got to chase Kyler Murray around, where we use Micah Parsons and we keep him out of the defensive end room that week. And Micah, you just have one goal. Do not let Kyler Murray catch the edge. And I think that Micah can do that. He's that good of an athlete. So, Joe, let's transition to Arizona. I think that we did a good job covering. Let's transition to Arizona. Joe, what is wrong with this Arizona team? I saw your tweet. How many times will Kyler Murray roll his eyes? Mm-hmm. I've been watching that for 2 years. That dude's body language sucks.
It's terrible, bro. And he doesn't hide it.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, you got to be mentally. We all know that the mental part of this game is a big part of it, right? And if you get in a player's head like that, especially at the quarterback position, it's over before it starts. So get him pressured, and you're gonna have a good chance of getting in his head.
Joe, what are the chances of what? So that Arizona team, I've heard everybody say, "Oh, it's D-Hop." I thought that they played sporadic at times, even though they were winning games. I will say that. I think that D-Hop and Kyler Murray's relationship is goofy at best. Like, I've seen games where they're not even on the same page. Mm-hmm. So now that he's gone, in chat box? You guys help me out. What's the real issue with Arizona, Joe?
I think you have a couple of things here. To be honest, there was the rumor of Cliff Kingsbury, possibly jumping ship to USC or wherever, right? That's not good for your team, because then you're like, is he leaving here? Like, that does something to your team. I don't care what anybody says. And then, of course, they want to give Dak a bunch of crap for being in a slump, or the offense, whatever. These guys are in a legit slump. Murray, the offense, the defense, that team's going in the wrong direction. So they have a lot. Who knows what's going on in the locker room? But I want to beat the crap out of these guys. I really do. I want to put the league on notice. Like, hey, we're not messing around here.
This 425 on Sunday could put the league on notice. They have some pieces on the back end, Joe, that we really like, that we've covered. Murphy, cornerback from Washington, that we covered. Good player. And then Budda Baker. Joe, I want to attack this defense? I want to run the ball. I want to be physical. Budda's going to come down here. He's going to smack you. I want to attack this defense similar to how you attack Washington. They have slightly better personnel, but I think you set them up with the run. You let Zeke get physical, and then you throw the ball over their head with play action. Defensively, Joe, for me, I hear people saying you need to spy with Micah Parsons, and I agree. And there's two ways you can do it. I feel like you can spy and let D-Law and baby DeMarcus Ware, a.k.a. Randy Gregory, catch the edge, or you can continue to do what you've been doing, play solid defense, and then on third down, blitz the hell out of these people, and they don't have enough good athletes to block it. What are you thinking, Joe?
Well, I'm thinking exactly that. Stay aggressive. Have him on the run. He'll throw an errant pass. He'll fumble the ball. You know what I mean? And we're a big unit. We're a big unit. And we saw Baker struggle, not being able to get the ball at the right, because the height. And, sometimes, we forget, the NFL, there's always a thing about the shorter quarterbacks. And sometimes that comes into play. We have a big unit. Like, it's going to be hard for him to be looking over this line. We're going to be in his face. So I'm excited to see what we do against a quarterback like this.
So when you look at DeMarcus Lawrence interception versus Heineke, I never thought that Taylor Heineke was good for that reason. His measurables suck. Like, when I was watching Ian Book play the other day, I was like, man, this kid looks like he's a freaking ninth grader playing against grown men. Like, he just doesn't have the size to be in the league. And people don't understand that's a real thing. Tom Brady's 6'5", so it helps him see over the line. It's a real thing, being able to step up in the pocket and see downfield. Kyler is a great athlete, but middle of the field throws, if the pocket's not clean, are going to be harder for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a better athlete than Heineke, but the size thing could come into an issue. And what you said, I don't know if Kyler's a great leader. Like, I just think that he's a supremely talented guy. He can play basketball, baseball. He can play football. I just think that he just kind of like comes off like a jerk. And you know what's crazy? These were questions during the draft process about him.
Yeah, they were. And even if you see some of his interviews back in Oklahoma, it's very awkward interview. He just like real short, almost comes off like a Belichick type when he's in interviews. Like, what the hell's wrong with this kid, dude?
It's hilarious, Joe. So I personally, I'm not gonna say I'm not worried because they have good athletes. Isaiah Simmons, the whole nine.
No.
It's funny. I think that Micah Parsons is what people thought Isaiah Simmons would be. I think he's having a decent year this year. I'm not sure. I don't follow the Cards enough. I know that Zaven Collins was going to be the starter going into the year. Then he lost his job. And then they have Chandler Jones. They have good pieces on the defense. Like, this will be a good test for you. But I just think that Dallas has a better team, top to bottom. And then the truth of the matter is they are missing D-Hop. And so Christian Kirk is just a guy. Elijah Moore, I'm not going to say that he's more of a gadget guy. But Joe, I like us to win by 10 points. I went back and watched that Lions game, and the Lions were really able to out-physical the Cardinals at times.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Cowboys have come out here right out the gate. Be physical and just set the tone. Whether it's defense going out there first or offense, just set that tone and let everything take care of itself, because it'll take care of itself. I've always felt very confident in when I say you can get in Kyle Murray's head, because he shows it on the field. He rolls his eyes with the incompletion or something like that, or he'll sigh and like the body language, right? It's not a good look, but I think we're gonna see a lot of that, bro. And I can't wait.
I like what Jamie and Cal said. He's just a soft guy. Guys, keep the super chats coming. We're gonna wrap up here in about 10 minutes. Great show, Joe. Joe, I don't want to look forward too much, but we won the NFC East. We're gonna be either, I got us between a 1 and a 4 seed, Joe. Joe, to you, this is gonna be a tricky question, Joe. And I want you to give it to me straight now. You win this game, do you sit against the Eagles?
I don't seeing that. That's going to be the interesting part here. Is will the Eagles be playing to get into the playoffs? If so, finish them off, knock them out. I don't want to play them for a third time. So because they'll probably come in as a 7th seed, and you're probably going to host them. So they always talk about it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
It's very hard to beat a team 3 times.
And I hate to say it, but that happened when the Giants knocked us out. We had that top seed, swept them, and we lost that damn game. I just finish them off. Don't mess with it. Like, blow them out like you did Washington, and then the second half, you can chill.
This is a good question. And thank you for the super chat. Will the Cardinals be a bigger test than the Eagles? Yes. You gotta understand what Jalen Hurts is. He's a decent quarterback. The Eagles are running the ball well, but they haven't been playing good defenses. So they're playing teams that are packing it up. They'll be playing the Redskins. Hopefully the Skins will come back and show some pride and maybe do Dallas a favor and knock Philly off, or at least play hard this week.
Yeah.
I live here in the DC area, and the truth is, bruh, it's embarrassing. You're embarrassed to be on that team right now. What's being said about those guys, and it's all warranted. It's disgusting how they play. You just don't play a game like that. Players weren't even trying, weren't giving their all. Fans leaving the fan base. It was ridiculous. 56 points in an NFL game. That's like a college score. And so you would hope that Washington could somewhat muster up something, but I doubt it. But I do think that the Cardinals are a better team than the Eagles. I don't think that Philly is good. I just don't. I think that they scraped a few wins together, but Miles Sanders is now hurt again, and
again.
so that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I've never believed in Jalen Hurts. I've never believed in Jalen Hurts ever. I think when you mix coverages up and you do some things to kind of play with him, and he can't keep everything in front of him, he's really a one read quarterback. So that's
Big
just me
12.
personally.
And that Big 12, right?
That Big 12 is tricky, Joe. That Big 12 is very tricky. So
I've
no,
never,
I
I've
don't.
never
Joe,
been.
what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cardinals will be a bigger test, because they'll do some things that'll test that defense out. Just you know, because you want to make sure that you're coming in here with the momentum. I don't want to barely beat this team, and I definitely don't want to lose this game. So I do want to put it to them. I want to put it
Right.
to these guys.
Yeah. And it's an uncommon opponent, so it'll be fun. I'm really excited for the playoffs, Joe. I can't even contain myself. 2 weeks away. Um,
Oh yeah.
I'm very, very excited. Um,
The importance of locking up that number 2 seed though is very key because you're most likely hosting 2 games. The
yeah.
wild card, and then you're going to get one of the lower seeds. You're going to host another game. So I definitely want to keep our foot on the pedal. You know what I mean? You might get the one, but if not, lock up that number 2. You know.
And Joe, I think you talk about keep your foot on the pedal. That's when I think that Mike McCarthy's bag is really shown. I think that he's going to have these guys playing at a different speed in the playoffs, and that's going to be scary for quarterbacks and teams. Is because everything's elevated. Every drive matters in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Everything,
Oh
and
yeah.
so that is going to be fun, Joe. Got to make sure the Tyron is healthy, but I'm just uber excited, Joe. 2 players that I think are going to have big playoffs: Randy Gregory and CeeDee Lamb. I think those will be the 2 players that I just got this strange feeling that they're just gonna go bananas in the playoffs. Joe, before we get out of here, guys, I will put the GoFundMe link in the description. So anybody who's watching this back, I'll put this in the description. Joe, any last words for you? It's late. I don't want to keep you too long.
No, first shout out to the chat box. I appreciate everybody that joined us here live tonight, and Foots, thanks for bringing me on tonight as usual. Great speaking with you about the Cowboys, and let's get it, man. Let's finish this season strong. Let's roll that momentum into the playoffs, and let's bring that Lombardi back to Dallas, baby.
I know what I'll do, Joe, because you do great with stuff like this. What's the one thing that the Cowboys can't do going into the playoffs? Like anything. It could be anything, Joe. What's the one thing
One thing they can't do
can't do
that they shouldn't do.
that they shouldn't do?
Oh man, I think I don't know. I think you just can't get you can't get overconfident. They got to stay humble through this process. That's my biggest thing. You know what I mean? So there's times where you talk about, can a team handle success, and this will be a big test for this young team. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to get too full of yourselves. We're gonna beat the hell out of everybody, and then boom, you get knocked in the mouth. So, but like you said, I think McCarthy is really good at keeping the team sharp. So that's what I want to see. Just keep that humble pie in distance.
Okay. That's a good one, Joe. Guys, thank you guys for joining, man. We got to good numbers. Everybody smash the like button. Go over to Joe's page and follow him, and then give him a follow on Twitter. Joe, what's your Twitter?
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter, guys. Cowboys Blog Net, like network. So Cowboys Blog Net.
And the same thing on IG, right?
IG is just Cowboys Blog, and YouTube Cowboys Blog.
And IG Cowboys blog. Guys, go give him a follow right now. And then do the same for me, guys, on IG and Twitter for me. I'm typing it in the box now. Run these followers up for us, man. IG and Twitter, the Twitter machine. We get busy on the Twitter machine. So fun.
Hell
Just
yeah, game
talking
day.
shit.
It's lit, bro.
Oh
It's
yeah,
lit.
me and Joe go crazy.
Yeah, it's like, man, we're there.
Everything is at Foots the King for me, guys. Go give us a follow right now. Twitter and IG. I talk to fans in the DMs, Twitter and IG. Foots the King. I talk to fans in the DM. I love you guys, man. Joe, you are my dog. If you guys are listening to this on a replay, Cash App or support the channel and support me trying to get out of town to go to the big Texas and watch one of these games and cover it live. Cash App and group me. It's your boy Foots as always. Peace.